going. I have two goals today. Hopefully one is to educate you about a single Oracle product today, this Oracle Database Appliance. The second thing is hopefully get you out in a timely fashion so your whole day isn't wrapped up around this presentation. And if we get a good lunch in, that would be great also. You met us, so we can go right into the agenda. Pretty simple. 4 areas that we're going to take up. What is an ODA, or Oracle Database Appliance, or ODA? We're going to use those terms today throughout the presentation. We're going to compare ODA to a legacy system. Then we're going to give you a case for investment. Why would you go this direction? Then we actually do a live demo against a legacy system that we have in our offices back in Westlake Village. But first, I think it's good to have a little bit of history of where did this engineered systems come from, why, what's the reasoning behind it. Oracle has been involved with this engineered systems since 2008. Their first offering of this was called the Exadata X1 system. This is prior to the Sun acquisition. It was built on Hewlett-Packard servers, and it had mild success, let's call it. They had a lot of problems with the system, but this integration of software and hardware started back then for Oracle. Then, after the acquisition of Sun, they came out with the Exadata X2 systems, and there's a variety of those systems available now based on Sun hardware and Sun storage. That came out in 2010. Then there's 2 other product offerings, Exalytics and Exalogic. Exalogic being an application server environment, Exalytics being a business intelligence environment. And then the last product offering is the, in this engineered systems to date, is the Oracle Database Appliance. Now the EXA product lines are larger systems, larger amounts of data, high performance systems. The ODA appliance is mid-market, industrial, used for a wide variety of kinds of environments, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I wanted to give you a little bit of history that the engineered systems is not new to Oracle. They've been doing it for quite a long time and have a pretty good track record of building these systems today. Now the next screen is actually about a 2-minute video of explaining what an Oracle Database Appliance is, and then I'll try to spend the next 40 minutes explaining it in greater detail. So I'm going to go ahead and start that.
Introducing the Oracle Database Appliance, a fully integrated system of software, servers, storage, and networking in a single box. It's a complete, engineered, high-availability database solution, capable of supporting a wide range of homegrown and packaged OLTP and data warehousing applications. It's simple to implement, maintain, and support, and it's affordable. Here's how it works. Just unpack the system, plug in power cords and network cables, power it up, and the pre-installed Oracle Linux system boots up. Now you're ready to start the installation. This easy-to-use GUI configurator will ask you whether you want to do a typical or custom installation. A typical system installation is easy and fast. Answer a few questions, such as the name of your system and time zone, Single Instance Oracle Database Enterprise Edition, RAC or RAC 1 node. Provide the IP addresses for the public interface for each node. Choose the size of the database you'll be running, from very small to very large. Storage administration is integrated into the Oracle Database Appliance, so no additional storage configuration is required. Once you've completed those steps, start the installation. Come back in 2 hours and you'll have a ready-to-go, highly available clustered database. Oracle offers a new licensing model for pay-as-you-grow. Even though every Oracle database appliance ships with a total of 24 cores, you can start out enabling as few as 2. As your needs grow, you can dynamically turn on additional cores, allowing you to pay for licenses as you need them. Oracle Database Appliance, a simple, affordable, high-availability database solution.
So one of the first statements that was made in that video was right here. What is it? It's a fully integrated database system, hardware, software, networking, storage in one system. We have found, because we've implemented quite a few of these, that it's good for OLTP, data warehousing, web applications, all different applications. It's a multi-purpose type of appliance. If there's 3 things that we want to know about this system, this is it. Very, very simple to implement. We were fortunate back in August of 2011 to get a beta box in our lab in Westlake Village. And I had some pretty senior DBAs who were actually very skeptical too, like most technology people. So when they got their hands on this box and they said, gee, a 2-hour install of an Oracle rack system is not possible. We've installed Cloud Creek systems, that is, 200, 300 plus rack systems over the last 6 or 7 years. And our guys are pretty good at what they do, and it still takes them 3, 4, 5 days to get a good installation going. So when they say a 2-hour installation, we're thinking, no, it's not going to happen. But as the video indicated, you enter some data into some screens, IP address, host name, things of that nature, and 2 hours later, my senior DBAs have an operational database. Well, they're still pretty skeptical about all this. So they're saying that, okay, fine. We're going to take a junior level person on our team. He started with Cloud Creek Systems in June of 2011, fresh out of university. Very smart kid. And we're going to have him go through an installation. At that point with Cloud Creek Systems, I'm not sure he knew how to spell Oracle. He really didn't have the skills of an Oracle DBA, a senior level DBA. But a smart kid. He rolled through a 2-hour installation and was inserting data and selecting data from this database. So we were pretty convinced at that point that they got the simple part down. To have a highly clustered Oracle rack system up and running in 2 hours was pretty phenomenal on our part. We were just very, very surprised. Reliability is built through the redundancy of the hardware, the clustering capabilities of the Oracle database. So again, these things have been in place. The software clustering has been in place for quite a long time, so inherently this is a very reliable system. And then you're going to see through a couple different mechanisms, the acquisition costs and the pay-as-you-go licensing, that is extremely affordable. Now, to get in the bits and bytes of what this really is on the hardware side, we have 2 servers, 2 full servers built into the system. Each server has 2 CPUs, 6 cores each. Each server has 96 gig of memory built into the system as part of the system. For the disk subsystem, it has 24 drive bays. 20 of those bays are 600 gig drives, giving you 12 terabytes of raw data. Oracle, to reinforce that reliability, triple mirrors the disk subsystem to give you 4 terabytes of usable data space. Now, please remember that each server has 2 drives installed on it for the operating system, Oracle Homes, things of that nature. So this 4 terabytes of space is for your data files for the database. The 4 remaining slots in the disk subsystem is for SSD drives. These are very high fast drives specifically dedicated for the redo area of a database, the hottest area in an Oracle database, thus giving you very, very good performance in this particular system. We have lots of networking ports. We have lots of PCI slots for expandability. The one note I get asked quite often is, well, what happens when we go beyond 4 terabytes? Is there a way to expand that? And yes, in fact, Oracle just certified the ability to mount other disk subsystems in an NFS fashion to expand the capabilities. And that mount can be via the 10 gig interface that's built in, redundant built into each server as a mechanism of doing that. Now for the software side. And by the way, if you're wondering, we've had pictures of the front of it. These are pictures here of our ODA system in our lab today. And here's the back plane here on how it looks. And these servers are actually removable. You can take these servers out, service them, and put them back in. And it's a pretty cool capability. So again, you have that reliability and built-in redundancy of the system. Back to the software for a moment. Standard for the operating system is Oracle Enterprise Linux. Is everybody familiar with that? No? How about Red Hat Linux? Are you familiar with Red Hat Linux? They're identical. Oracle Linux is identical to Red Hat Linux. And the way that works is Oracle takes a version of Red Hat and then sells a support agreement like Red Hat for their system. They also provide packages specific to Oracle technology that they build in and share with Red Hat. They've had this partnership for quite a long time, since Red Hat has been around. They've had this partnership to share the technology. So Oracle builds, again, kernel level packages for Oracle technology. This version gives the ability of one source for all your support, your database, your operating system. The application manager I'm going to come back to in a moment and talk about that. The 11GR2 database, standard 11GR2 database that you can find and download and use today. It's no different than any other system. The real application clustering, or RAC, is the clustering technology used for the two servers to work and service a database user. So if you're not accustomed to Oracle's clustering technology, that's been around since 2004 or 2001, I think. How long has RAC been around, James?
Well, it's been around since Oracle 8i, and it's called Parallel Server.
That's correct, yeah.
And then 9i, that's when it changed its name to RAC, and
right.
that's early 2000s.
Right. So this technology has been available for quite a long time. And again, no other database environment really provides the level of clustering capabilities that Oracle does. Then we have Oracle Enterprise Manager. That helps, and if you're running Oracle Red Stack today, you're probably accustomed to Oracle Enterprise Manager. That's used to manage the database and everything up from the BIOS on out. All of these products have been around for quite a long time and very proven. So again, even though this is a relatively new product release from Oracle, this has been, it's using software that's been around and proven for quite a long time. Now I'm going to go back to the application manager for a moment because that is the secret sauce of this system. If you want to talk about what's special about this, it's the application manager. This gives you what was termed in the video the one-button installation, where you answer a few questions, hit the button, go away for a couple hours, come back, and you have an operational database. It gives you the one-button management and one-button patching and support. You may have heard of this, the phone home capabilities. That's what the application manager does. It lets you know when you have problems. You don't have to go discover those problems. I'll give you a real example. This happened to me literally Monday. I get an alert on my phone, a text message from my phone, telling me that our ODA needed to be patched with a BIOS patch. Literally comes on my phone, didn't have to do anything in that regard. That's the level of sophistication built into this application manager. It goes, checks with Oracle, tells you that you need to have a problem, then you can schedule to fix that particular problem via a patch or whatever the recommended method is. The last couple of things on here in this pre-engineer capability is pay-as-you-go licensing. That was lightly mentioned in the video. We're going to dive a little farther in that in a moment. And then again, as we stated, it's got a 4U footprint here. Very compact in your server room, and not too elegant looking either. It's just a workhorse. Now to recap some of the things about the application manager, again, hides that complexity of setting up a rack system. It's a GUI-based system that you just enter things on the setup and it does the installation for you. It validates everything for you down to the operating system and does the installation of the heavy lifting for you. Again, you don't have to worry about drivers, anything to do with configuring the system. The application manager has done this for you. Now, what are some of the things that we're seeing, in real life? Again, up to 4 terabytes on the system. If you're used to using ASM as your disk management system, that's what's being used in ODA. ASM has been around for quite a long time. Again, standard practice in Oracle, nothing new being introduced here. I would say in 90 to 95% of our implementations of ODA, we're actually replacing old gear. Okay. Specifically, about 5-6 years ago, when rack really took off, it was very common to see a 2-node, Dell, HP, 1U servers, an EMC or NetApp SAN. Well, those systems are now slowly being aged out. This is a perfect system to replace those aging systems. And about, like I said, 90% of our installations now are replacing those systems because of this ease of use, ease of installation. If you're not in a high availability system where you have this redundant multi-server clustering environment, you absolutely get this high availability for your database environment. And again, great for consolidating databases. We have a few customers doing that where they've got these databases in various places, and they're consolidating up on the system, on one system. Now, I've focused on the installation of, after you receive the equipment, how easy it is. What I didn't tell you about is if you're going to go and try to design a 2-node rack system similar to ODA, some of the things you're going to have to commit time to. You're going to have to go and architect servers. You're going to have to talk to those vendors and say, what do you got? Here's my sizing requirements. You're going to have to go through that iteration. You're going to have to do some networking and SAN analysis also. And then you're going to have to get multiple quotes from SAN vendors and check the compatibility between these. You're going to have to build the systems yourself, meaning rack and stack and connect them together. You're going to have to make sure all the drivers and everything will work. And you're going to have to make sure the drivers are compatible with Oracle software. Cloud Creek Systems knows how to do this. We've been doing it for a long time. We have our own rack system that we built back in 2005, and it took us 3 weeks' time, and we knew what we were doing to build that. ODA, literally, and we have people writing Cloud Creek Systems purchase orders today. We're delivering a system in a week. They have an operational database the day of delivery. And it really is as simple as unpacking the box, putting it up on your rack, plugging it in, putting the network in, answering a few questions. So we just took an operation from 3 weeks with highly skilled people down to 1 day and a week's worth of delivery time. That's it. So there's a huge savings in terms of architecting the system out over building your own. Now Oracle has put some OpEx numbers together, which I believe are very conservative. It's a 3-year time frame. We just talked about initial deployment of 3 weeks if you really know what you're doing of time, as opposed to processing a purchase order. They think you're saving 13 grand. I actually think that's pretty conservative. I think the number is much higher than that, because I haven't seen a lot of shops and where they really know Oracle rack systems well, so they're really learning a lot as they go along. So I think the number is a bit higher. In maintenance and support, we talked about phone home capabilities, where now you don't have to spend time each day or each week determining what patches you need to apply. Do I need to upgrade that BIOS? Do I need to upgrade that controller software? Do I need to upgrade the operating system? No, the application manager takes care of that for you. Yes, you do have to patch it occasionally, you have to go through that process, but the amount of time that you have to spend researching these various vendors that you may buy this equipment from are going to be completely different. So I think these numbers, totaling about 75 grand, are pretty conservative in just labor savings. I think it's a much higher number. I'm going to change gears a bit on this presentation. And I talked about this a little bit, and the video touched on this pay-as-you-go licensing. What does that really mean? If you buy an HP system today that has similar core counts as the ODA, ODA has 24 processing cores, Oracle will require you to license 24 cores. That's it. And that's been around since Oracle's been a company. They're going to require you to license 24 cores. You don't have a choice. In ODA, you got a choice. You can start off with 2 cores.
That's 1 CPU license.
1 CPU license instead of 24 cores. Quite a bit of difference, and quite frankly, I've never seen Oracle offer such a thing before, ever. Very, very unique offering in this server. Now, you may come back and ask me the question, well, my production environment, I want to use all the systems. I want to use all 24 cores. I want to deliver the fastest capability the system has to my users. And I would agree with you. But there may be cases, we talked to a company up in Portland just last week, they're running their Oracle database on AMD chips, 4 cores. That's it, their entire database. But it's older gear, it's 5 years old, and they're looking at replacing it. And they went to James and they said, James, I only really need 4 cores. And James is like, fine. You can use them, you can turn on 4 cores, and if that meets your requirements, you're in great shape. So in that case, it was very, very applicable to them because they were running 4 cores, satisfying their customer needs. They get newer technology and implement 4 cores in this. They're in great shape. So there's one instance where that makes a lot of sense for them to use this sub-capacity or sub-core licensing. Another case, which I think everybody in this room probably does, is you have non-production environments. Places where you want to release your software, test it out, make sure it works correctly. Places where you've got a unit test or train people. You want that equipment to be very, very similar to your production, because you want your production, when you release a patch to your production, you want to make sure you fully test it on the system like your production. Guess what? You can have the same thing and license 2 cores. Again, Oracle is going to require you to buy 24 cores on that non-ODA system. So in these non-production environments where you may have developers working and things of that nature, you can have the same system available to them as your production and not have to license Oracle all the way for all CPUs. So this, I think, is very, very revolutionary by Oracle by putting this in place and making this available for this system. So we've talked a lot about the hardware, we've talked a lot about the software, we've talked a lot about the sub-capacity licensing. The price price tag for this system is $50,000. We can add about 12% for support. That's about $6,000. A little bit for shipping. Is $56,000, $57,000, James?
Yeah, the shipping is marginal.
It's a few hundred bucks. So we literally are shipping these things out to customers. It's an inventoried system, meaning you give me a purchase order today, we're shipping it out in about a week, and it's 56 grand.
Does that include Oracle license?
It does not include Oracle licensing. But it's a great question. What it does include is the hardware we defined and showed you today. It includes the operating system and the operating system support. It includes the application manager that does all the nice stuff for you on the installation and ongoing maintenance.
So the support that you paid, the 12% includes Oracle, Enterprise Linux, and all that.
All that. Okay? Now your software licensing, you can, in the case of the example I gave you, a person up in Portland who has 4 cores, they're going to migrate their licenses over. So they're just like using this as a replacement hardware. So again, you know, your licensing and your licensing requirements is going to change. Everybody in this room is going to be a little bit different. And there's deployment options too that we're going to go over. And I'm going to go over that in a few minutes too. But again, $50,000 for this particular system. Now, I'm going to change gears completely. We're saying, well, why? What's the big deal? Back in August when we had this beta box, we have a very good customer of ours, Call Source. And if you drive down the road and see call 1-800-LAWYER or 1-800-LAWYER or 1-800 whatever, Call Source manages the statistics of these calls, length of time, where it was at, so on and so forth.
Customer satisfaction.
Customer satisfaction. There's a whole lot of data they capture about the call itself. They summarize it for their customers and present it in web pages to their customers. They were looking for a hardware refresh at the time, and they talked to us about it and said, what do you think of this, what do you think of that? And we said, why don't you, we've got this beta box, let's put your database on there, let's run some sequels. Give me your worst, 5 or 10 sequels. Well, he gave us 9 sequels that really caused a lot of problems for his current database. And we ran them, and he was just absolutely so impressed, I think is a word, that he wanted to buy that box right there.
Yeah, he wanted to keep the beta box. He basically cut me a check. He went to the CFO, got the check, said, James, I'm keeping the box.
Do you want to keep that one? Of course, we wanted to sell it to him, but Oracle wouldn't allow that. We actually had to send it back. And again, Jason's a great guy. Jason's the CTO of the organization, and he's the master of their entire system, and was just absolutely impressed with it. The second thing he did was he turned around and then gave us an application server and ran his entire application against it just to make sure everything ran well. Again, ready to write a check instantly on this. And he had some nice things to say about the whole thing as a statement. A little side note to this, if you receive the Oracle magazine, there's a very nice article about the whole system and what he did and how the migration. We actually, he bought a system in September when it was released. We brought him and migrated him by December because he was not on 11GR2, so we had to migrate him up to 11GR2. It took a couple of months. And he's very, very happy with the system today. It's in production, and he's spitting out his reports to his customers much faster. His customers are very satisfied with the system. So again, very, very good story all the way around. Now, to get into some of the statistics of the 9 sequels he ran, the gray area shows his performance on his servers. Now, his legacy system was built on 2 HP servers and a NetApp filer. These timings were when they actually completed. There's many of these that you would run them during the day and they would not complete at all. So depending on the time of day and whatnot. The ODA is in red. Very, very good performance. He was very happy with it. In our